Okay. It says I'm recording to the cloud. All right. Well, hey, it's good to see everybody. You know, it's spring seems to bring a lot of renewal and energy. I was watching earlier this morning, and I was curious. I wanted to take a little bit of a poll too. I was watching the Wednesday morning coaching from with Andy Goddard and Tiffany Peterson, and Andy was hosting it. It's spring break for their school area there, and they've got a bunch of young children, so they were in Florida for spring break, and he was hosting from there, and Tiffany, I think, was from her office in Salt Lake at her home. But how many of you you either watch that live or watch the recording that they put on Facebook every week? Liz? Ron, not so much. Hope? Sometimes, never?
Been a few years for me.
Yeah, okay. Susan, have you ever?
I've never seen it. How do I get to it?
Let's see.
Well, now, Barry, they do it live on Facebook. So you go on
Yes.
Facebook, go to Share Success. If I may say this, go to Share
Yes,
Success
please.
Profile or Facebook group. It's called Share Success. It will show up. And then if you go, I think it's 8 to 8:30. So if you go at 8, then you will see Andy or Tiffany talking on live. So just go and listen. If you want,
Yeah.
you can participate by questioning, or at the bottom there's a little
There's a chat box, right?
box there. But if you just want to listen, just listen. I think they see you. I mean, not see your face, but the name that you're watching. Or you can type, hey, Liz is here, or Susan is here. And then, Susan, you can ask question. They will answer the question at the Q&A portion. I like it.
Yeah, so it's 7:30 Pacific time. Every Wednesday, except like Leadership Week or Convention Week. But Susan, it is what it is. Andy Goddard and Natalie Goddard are upline presidential diamonds. They're, let's see, they would be two levels above Rachel. So they host that free for anyone on every Wednesday, and it's coaching with the Goddards and Tiffany Peterson. Tiffany Peterson is, if you don't know who she is a very well-known used to be in the corporate world. She does a lot in doTERRA now, but as a coach, as a business coach. And so people just, they can chat their question, put their question on, or they can say it with audio. And Tiffany and Andy or Natalie will coach that person through that challenge or that question they have. So it's really good. And it's recorded. It was great this morning. I love to catch those and just listen. But, you know, it brought the thought to me is kind of then versus now doTERRA situation. And that was one of the topics that we had well, it wasn't exactly that topic, but at leadership. You all that were there, if you remember, Corey went through kind of, you know, where we are now and a little bit where we have been. And by the way, did y'all see that a lot of those slides are put up from leadership? Let me see if I can show you. Maybe you already all found them. Let's see. I guess I don't have that one showing. Give me just a second and I'll show you. Anyway, and you can just download them. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing technologically. Ron, he's a champ, that's for sure. But I'm going to reprogram my brain. I'm getting better at my technology, right? So.
That right?
Let's put it this way, Barry, you know more than 99.9% of the population of the world.
There we go. I love that, Ron. And you're always so positive. It reminds me of Andy on the call this morning. So this lady calls in and she says, hey, I've been a silver for a year and I just can't get, and the first thing that he and Tiffany do is they congratulate her on being a silver. and tell her, you're in the network marketing world, you're the top 1%.
Exactly.
You know, and it's a lot of times it's that perspective and how we look at it.
Be
Okay.
grateful for what you have.
Yeah, and celebrate that. So can you all see that on the screen there?
Sort of. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, this is, so where I found it was on the Gold Platinum support page.
Oh,
And it's not, I mean, you can just download them. And so, Susan, I don't know how much you know about leadership retreat that they hold every March on the East Coast and the West Coast. Next year, it'll be all together in Arizona. But here are a lot of the slide presentations that we're all taking pictures of. You've got the Corey Lindley, Emily's announcements, and so that's what I've found so far.
Hey, Barry, sorry to interrupt. Are you recording?
Yes,
Oh, thank you.
yes, we are recording. So, you know, I think about that, and some of us on the call have been in doTERRA for a long time and remember, like I remember Rachel coming over to our house, and when I first met her, and she was kind of, you know, starting doTERRA, and what tools we had and where the company was and how many oils we had, and just things like Susan mentioned a little bit ago about the incentives and such like that. What, you know, we've got Michelle on here and Ron and Liz, Hope. And I don't know how long Susan's been in, but would any of you be willing to share what you notice now or what you see now? Is the opportunity kind of gone, or is it better? What feedback would you have on that?
From my perspective, it's so much easier nowadays. You know.
Why do you say that, Ron?
Well, when I started, we had no collateral materials whatsoever, other than a single sell sheet that Natalie had on the 10 oils and the physician's kit. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much after that, we had a morning 15-minute call Leash said to be put on. Okay, at 7:15 in the morning my time, or 7:15 or 7:30, whatever it was our time in Pacific. And that was it. Okay, there wasn't anything else. And so what we have now is this wealth of material. I mean, sometimes, you know, it's overwhelming. It's because it's so much material. So you got to filter it, right?
Right.
And that's a big part of what I do, you know, in my business is filtering, right? Because an overwhelmed mind is a confused mind makes no decisions, right?
Yeah.
So it's helpful to just say, okay, do this week. Oh, okay, I can do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but it's, you know, people know what essential oils are now. I mean, when I started this business in Reno, it was like, what? Essential what? I mean, I didn't even know what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, nowadays it's just, we have so many different resources we could tap into, different leaders we could tap into, different programs, different teachings, different, you know, there's a smorgasbord out there. You can pick and choose. So
you worked for a long time developing your program, which there was nothing like that in the beginning at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you, I don't know, was it 2 or 3 years you worked at developing your 60 Days to Silver program?
Try 6 years.
I mean, that's a lot of experience and knowledge and what works, what doesn't work.
But you know what?
We had that when we started.
But you know what was interesting is when I went back to my journal from way back when, and this was back in 2011, the year I went silver in 35 days. That was week 1, okay? This was week 2, okay? I was already thinking, like, since I went silver so fast, how can I share this with other people? And many times I got started on the project and then it was, somebody convinced me, don't do it now. And so I just kept holding it off. And I'd start it, they'd stop it. I started, stop it. And finally we went diamond and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go do this now. And then something else came out. You know how life goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't until the last 3 years where I've just been kicking butt at it.
I want to say something.
Yeah. Yeah. And the, you know, the thing that hits me from there, and Liz, I want to hear definitely what you say. You got that thought, you keep it. you know, that was a tool that wasn't available for you at the beginning or anyone else.
I
And
wish I'd had it.
now it's there, and it's helping a lot of people. Liz, what did you want to add?
Oh, it's doTERRA has not topped out. It's still, you know, you're still on the boat. It's still really, really, really tons of opportunity. From experience, I will compare. It's easier to talk to people these days. At the beginning, I have to start from. Oh my God. I have to start. Hold on, my battery is going down.
Okay, we'll wait.
Hold on, I'm here.
Are you there? Okay.
Okay.
She's the Energizer Bunny. If you didn't know that, when her battery goes, it's do.
I'm gonna say, when I prospect these days, the language I use is different now. I used to say, I used to answer the question, what is essential oil? What is doTERRA? You know, now I don't do that anymore. They will say, oh yeah, my mother, my cousin, my friend, my neighbor, I know, and I have an oil right here. So the language you use is different now. Or you will, as opposed to explaining what oils are, you will just say, oh my gosh, you have essential oil, you know? Can I ask you how long you've been using it? Would you like some more? So the language you use is different now. It's like more of you go right, step 1, 2, 3, you go to step 5. So, right? How can I help you more? Here's what I'm doing. So it's easier these days. That's my experience, to explain what the oils and what the business is. Now it's like you open the door. Here's what we've been doing for 8 years. I know systems. There's 5, 6 systems now that can help you do the business if you want. And there are now a ton of books, a ton of information that you can understand the oil better. So you are giving them the smorgasbord. All you have to do is choose which one resonates with you. That's my feeling. It's easier to share, and we are more confident now because doTERRA is $2 billion company. So, and I really believe it's different, better. The word is better. Okay.
That's what I was getting from you two. That you've been in it a long time, but you see it actually not topping out, but barely getting going, and tremendous opportunity.
You know, I got to say, when I joined, everybody in Utah was like, "Oh, we're saturated. Oh, we can't. There's so more people. Everybody's in doTERRA." And I used to, every time I'd come to Utah, I'd get at least 2 or 3 prospects. You know, I mean, the coffee shop or the donut shop or the whatever place, and I would show up at Rachel's events. You know, and everybody's, "Oh, it's so hard." I'm like, "Here's names. I got these today." You know.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, you just got to get out there and do it. I mean, it's like, it doesn't matter when you do this. You just got to get off your butt, get out of your comfort zone and do it. Do simple stuff, right? Wow, people. It's simple. Ask Michelle. I mean, look what Michelle's done. Just such a short
she's right there. It's a false premise. I love these. I wanted to show a couple of these and maybe love to hear some commentary too from Michelle. So can you all see that?
Yep.
Okay, so let's just think for a minute. If we saw this and somebody's saying, well, I want you to do business with me, and they show you this graph, you might go, oh, looks like it's probably, I missed the opportunity.
It's saturated.
Company, look how big it is. I missed it. I should have been there in 2009, right? But that's not how it is. Because it's, now let's look at, okay, let's see if I can move this. Okay, let's go to this research that Corey put up that was done. I think it was done in 2018, but look at those numbers. 8.
Looks pretty saturated, doesn't it?
I'm thinking that there's a little bit of market out there. Okay, let's go a little further.
That's probably Utah.
Yeah, look at this map that they put up, and when Corey's going over this, he's going really fast, and anybody that was not at leadership, they don't see this, they don't know this, but okay, Michelle's probably right in there. just north of headquarters, and we think, it's saturated. Utah's got to be saturated. Look at those numbers. Look at those numbers. Probably, maybe the 7.8% is right there around headquarters. But still, think about that. That means that 92% are not using or have doTERRA membership in where headquarters are, where it started. So let's look at California. Hope and Susan are California people. I mean, you've got Southern California at 1%. I don't know what's the population in all of California now? Is it 30 million?
A ton.
Yeah.
Too many.
I have some dairy. I work for dairy farmers, and they have a different word they put in front of ton when there's a whole bunch. And it's, yes. But there's an S ton. Let's just say that.
The freaking ton.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's like 30 million people there, and we
need a border.
less than 1% saturation. So this. And Elise Sedovy talked a lot about that doubt and that belief that's in our mind, and we get that talk going, well, everybody knows about it where I am, all of this kind of stuff. It's false, and we've got to get that real information in there. So I thought, let's look at Canada. We have a married daughter in Canada.
Real quick.
Yes.
It's just what Ron said. You have to get out of your comfort zone because it's totally saturated if you're not willing to talk to people you don't know.
Right. Your little circle that's known you've used the oils for 5 or 6 years, right? They all know about it, and you think, well, everybody knows, right? Hope, but that's just your little circle.
You know what I tell people? There's actually more people you don't know than you do know.
Yeah.
That's true. I love to remember too, when I'm talking to a person one-on-one or in a class, each one of those people know about 400 or 500 people. And
well, not if you're an engineer.
Yeah,
I might know 5 or 10.
Yeah, it's hard to get to know people when you're driving those trains around all the time.
Or you're sitting behind a computer, right? Typing, making stuff like this. You don't make a lot of friends.
Look at Canada on this map. We have a married daughter there in Alberta, and there's not even a number for doTERRA there. And that's one of the areas that we're going to work hard. We had a little dinner at leadership, and we had 2 Canadians that were there. It was interesting to hear their stories and talk about the ease we have in the U.S. for shipping and all this stuff. Yes, it is tremendously. The opportunity is so much greater. Anyway, well, I'm going to jump off that. So, Michelle, did you have any thoughts about what we're talking about? You are an experienced doTERRA lady. You're a very experienced businesswoman, I might add. You have run other businesses before and been very successful. Your husband is a very successful financial individual. So you have a lot of business experience. Is doTERRA hit their peak, and you've got the U.S. founders that were here in the beginning, and they get to share in the profit sharing from the annual proceeds? Is it done? What's your thought? Are you looking to go other places because there's just nothing left? What are you thinking?
So funny you'd ask me. That's interesting that you just described me that way, Barry, because I would not have.
It's true, Michelle.
We never see ourselves as others see us, I suppose. So I was actually private messaging Ron right now because I had set a few goals and things, and I was lucky enough to have my new grandbaby join us yesterday, and we're all really excited about that.
Yeah.
But because it had to be cesarean section, it's going to change things as far as my next 6 to 8 weeks goes. Because what a blessing and a privilege it is that I do doTERRA so I can adjust my schedule to be there and help take care of my daughter-in-law and my grandbabies and whatever, and my son and whatever they need. So that's a huge blessing. But because I'd set this big goal, it also scared the crud out of me. Like, how the heck am I going to do this now? You know? And so bumping up against that upper limit a little bit, which always happens. It always happens. You're going to bump up against it as soon as you set a big goal. It's going to happen. And so here we are. We're just going to keep going for it. But what's really interesting is, Barry, like you said, it's all mindset. You can either decide that it's saturated and there's no more opportunity, and then you'll be right. There won't be any opportunity because you will have already closed that door. So as far as I see it, there's as much opportunity with doTERRA now as there was when they opened. In fact, more really, because like Ron said, we had nothing to teach classes with when we first. I remember drawing circles on a paper to try and teach people what a therapeutic grade, certified pure therapeutic grade essential oil even was. You know,
Right.
and then there was all the, well, we've never heard of doTERRA. They're going to be here in 10 years. Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore, because guess what? They have a track record now of excellence. So you have that in your corner. So I would actually say that right now is one of the best opportunities for doTERRA ever, especially with the Prime Meridian rolling out and with the tools you have. So I would just quite frankly say it's just absolutely up to your mindset. And that's what I'm fighting with right now, because you will always fight with your mindset. There will always be the tendency to think, oh, it's too late, it's too hard, it's too this, it's too that. You can always have that fight, or you can make the decision that it's not. And it's kind of up to you. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm fighting with that mindset, going, I'm fine, I can do this. Doesn't matter what challenges are there. There's a way through. Trust God, trust myself, and work hard, and anything's possible.
And don't forget, you got to know why you want to do this.
Know your why. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, what you say is so true. And what it reminds me of, as a young guy, I had a lot of experience in sports, and they were very much into mindset and, what do you do when you lose a game? What do you do if you're way behind halfway through the game? What do you do if the other team is doing things you didn't expect? Just like what Michelle said, she didn't expect. She had this goal, let's say and I'm going to convert it into athletics, to win she wanted to win the certain game. And all of a sudden the other team did a different play. So she has this beautiful new grandchild, and now there's going to be a different pattern for Michelle. So it's like the other team did a different play. She's got to adjust now. What would they teach us in sports? They'd say, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to quit? I mean, or do you, even if you lose that game, or if you're behind at halftime, or the other team's doing things, do you stop, or do you just say, we can't, and you just quit? Hope's a rugby coach. I know she's going to be working mindset a lot with those kids, and that's so true with what we do. And it's something that I'm working on every day. I am, people around me, they'd go, man, he is nuts, because I'm talking to myself a lot of times. As soon as I get a doubt thought, I'm countering that. And so, I really appreciate what you said, Michelle. I think it is so true. And I had a guy say to me one time with doTERRA, he says, I figured it out. The only way you can fail in doTERRA is you quit. And I think that's he really said a truth. So anyway, we've got about 15 minutes. I wanted to review, I've got the slides where Emily put up this new Founders Club thing. Are you guys really clear on that? Would you like to see if I can get it open here? Would you be open to talking about that a little bit?
Hey, Barry, I think what might be more interesting is the Hawaii trip.
Well, is that
the points count for both, right?
Right. Let's do that. I'm going to try. I think I've got I wanted to bring those slides up, Ron, and then I just have to find it here. It's got both of them together, remember? And so I think that's Emily announcement 2.
I think they talked about Hawaii first.
Right.
And then
By
right.
qualifying for that, you qualify for this. Let's just go through.
It's like double point value, or they call it.
Slides real quick. So if you want to just talk some general on that, I thought I had that one downloaded.
Well, basically, who
And
wants,
I'll pull it up.
who wants to go to Hawaii this next year, January?
I mean,
We
I
got
do.
one taker. We got 2 takers.
I do.
3, 4.
Everybody.
Susan, oh, unanimous. Okay, well, here's the cool thing, okay? If you want to, you can go for free. Did you know that? Every year, doTERRA has a free incentive trip, okay? The only part that's not free is you got to kind of work for it, okay? You got to get off your butt, get out of the house, enroll people. In fact, I just enrolled somebody yesterday. You got to enroll people, right? Even diamonds. And the reality is, if you do that, I think the number was 16 people by the end of August, with I think 2 or 3 levels, 3 LRP orders, something like that. You can get a free room in this really nice place on the Big Island. I think it's in Kona, isn't it? Is it Kona or is it?
I think I've got it here. Let me bring it
Yeah,
up.
it's just outside of Kona on the Big Island of Hawaii.
Yep, there you go.
Hopefully it should
And
be-
And they also are
actually
going to give you a Visa card to help cover some of your expenses since it's not an all-inclusive.
Yeah, and it's 2 resorts. It's not just one. They've taken over 2 resorts. We went to the one in Puerto Vallarta last month. Yeah, last month. No, month and a half ago. And Liz and I did. And you know what was really cool is this particular time, we owned the whole resort. I think there was like 2 rooms that were rented out prior, so they had to honor those reservations. But everybody else in the hotel, everybody was doTERRA. You know how much fun that is when everybody you meet is from doTERRA? It's like it is lots of fun. I mean, they have sandcastle contests and they have all kinds of activities and meals. You get to talk to the founders. I mean, I saw Emily a few times. We talked for a little bit. I saw Rob, or was it Rob there? Yeah, Rob was there. Saw him a couple times. A bunch of people. Everybody's there. You want to sit down and have lunch with Justin Harrison? He's there. It's just it's a really great opportunity. And here it is. Look at the screen. How do you get there?
And it's a big crowd, but it's not a huge crowd. Like Ron's saying, you can still have these private conversations with a lot of people that that have had great success levels, and you can learn from them, or you can just have a chat. It is really cool.
We've been on about 4 or 5 of these things, and the first one we actually we worked hard and won it. Okay, and I remember the feeling of getting on that airplane with Lizzie. It was early in the morning on a Sunday, I think it was, or Monday, I forgot. Anyway, it was early in the morning, and we got on this airplane, and we're looking at each other going, wow, this is cool. We were so broke. We were like 94,000 in credit card debt at the point, all maxed out. But we were going on a trip to Cancun, okay?
Uh-huh.
And we got off the airplane, we walked out of the airport, and there's people standing up there with doTERRA signs, right? Come this way, come this way. Got us on a bus, drove us out to the resort. This resort was so big, it had 3 lobbies. I mean, huge, right on the Gulf of the Caribbean, and around the sandy beach right there. And our room had a view of the Caribbean, right? This was free, okay?
And it's in like January.
And it's January, it's snowing back home, right? And the thing is, you don't realize it, but when you get off that plane and you realize you kind of earned this, that is like the most powerful thing. I mean, I'd never won a free trip anywhere in my life, okay? Ever. And here we were, this little essential oil company was paying for our vacation. And I am telling you, it is so worth it. You can tell everybody, oh, it's so cool to go diamond, it's so cool to go silver, it's so cool. But you know what? It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. And I don't care how much work you have to go through, how long it takes. When you get there, it was worth it. Okay? And you look back and you go, this is the easiest freaking job I've ever had in my life. Okay? We think this is hard, right? The hardest part is between our 2 ears.
Yeah.
Okay? If you think about working the other day, Monday, I was on the computer. I was on Zoom calls from like 8:15 in the morning till 8:15 at night. It was like a crazy Monday. I had all these calls and things like that. And I go, oh man, that was a lot of work. And then I thought it back in my working world. That was like a typical day, right? That for me, doTERRA is a couple hours a week usually.
Yeah, and you didn't have to commute anywhere.
It's like 10-second commute.
You're working with people you want to work with. You know, you're not there having to hassle. So there's so many upsides to that, even though it's a busy day.
But it's worth it. Trust me, it is worth it.
Well, Ron, I could feel that, you know, what you're saying, and it is so true, and it's so achievable.
Oh my gosh.
You know, we've got,
16 people.
let's just look through these, and then people will be able to see them on the recording too, but how we get there for that, and at the same time that opens up, what doTERRA has done is they've opened up a way to share in the founders' commissions or percentages from the U.S. And so this shows you how you get on your rewards trip.
Before you flip, Barry, does everybody understand this slide?
Yeah, let's make sure
Raise
that
your hand if you like a little more clarity.
Yes, I mean I want more clarity.
Okay, so here's the deal. If you enroll somebody, or I should say when you enroll somebody of at least 100 points, you're going to get 2 points toward this trip, okay? If you enroll somebody with 250 or more points, you get 3 points when you enroll them. Okay, that's part one, okay? Part two is LRP. If that person gets on LRP for the next 1, 2, or 3 months, you get 2 points per LRP order they do, okay? Of at least 100 PV. So each person potentially could earn you 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, right? What is that?
9.
9 points, okay? Now, the thing is, well, what does 9 points mean, right? Well, that's kind of what the next slide's about if they have it. If not, I can. Okay, so they don't really have a good picture here, but let me just describe it to you, okay? There's a page on the doTERRA site, and I can pull it up if you want, or Barry, you can pull it up, which shows you how many points you earn for each of the levels of prizes, okay? So I'm going to pull it up really fast just so you can see.
I'll stop this year.
Yeah, doTERRA, let's see, we'll do incentive trip to 2020. You can look it up, you can just Google it, okay? So we're going to go share, and I'm going to take this up, and I'm going to click share. Okay, so now, this is Google search. I just did doTERRA incentive trip 2020. And so we click on this, and we go to the page. Now, that's kind of a nice view, huh? Wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
So here's the details over here, okay? Eligibility was what you just saw, okay? This is basically what the points look like, okay? And the prizes, okay, are the things you get for those points, okay? So we'll start at the bottom, that's the easiest. They're gonna allow 100 people, which is quite a few people, if you earn 125 points, okay? So let's say you had 9 points. Let's say you were going for broke. You had 9 points per person. So 125 divided by 9, that's 13.89 people. Well, that's not bad. 13.89. So we'll round it up to 14 people since it's hard to find 0.89 people, okay? So 14 people, if you do this whole thing, we'll get you on this. We'll get you this, okay? 4 nights of shared accommodations. What that typically means is there's 2 people per room, okay? So if you decide you want to go for this and you say, well, I want to bring my wife and my husband with me, okay? 150 divided by 9, that's 16.67. So 17 people, if you do this right and you focus, enroll 17 people at 250 PV or more, like a Natural Solutions kit, and you get them on LRP for 3 months, that's 17 people. You can bring 2 people, okay? So the room is yours, transportation from the airport, breakfast every day, plus a couple dinners, and the Sandalwood Farm Experience. What is that? The Sandalwood Farm Experience. doTERRA sandalwood oil, Hawaiian sandalwood oil, obviously is from Hawaii, okay? What they're going to allow, or they're going to do, is they're going to take everybody out there. Maybe you'll plant sandalwood trees. Maybe you'll get a tour of the facility, maybe both, maybe more, okay? But it's a chance to kind of meet with everybody. I mean, the founders will be there, all the high-level distributors will be there, okay? Point is, 150 points. You have to the end of August. It's April now. April, May, June, July, August. 5 months. 5 months.
And how many people did you say it was? Was it?
If you do that enrollment we talked about, 16.67. So if you can't find 3/4 or 2/3 of a person, you need one whole person. So that'd be 16 people. Okay, per month. And I mean, for the total time for 5 months. Okay, right. If I divide that by 5, it works out to 3.33 people per month. So some months you do 4, some months you do 3. One person a week.
Yeah.
Okay. You get out there. This is not rocket science. You don't have to sign everybody up with diamond kits. Okay. We're talking natural solutions, or if you don't want to do the 3-pointer, you want to go for the 2-pointer. Well, okay, then 100 PV order.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Hope.
Does their LRP have to be over 100 PV?
Yes, 100 or more.
Okay.
Yep. But there's no. So when we qualified back in 2011, it was a different thing. They didn't have this enrollments plus LRPs. What they had was just total enrollment points. And I think for the prize I had to get 2 people there, which is one I was describing here, was like, I don't know, 50,000 points or something like that. Whatever it was, some big number. But every diamond kit counted, right? So I was focused on diamond kits. So every 2,000 points counted, right? The point is, I didn't even know I was competing for this. I was just signing people up. And then I find out that, hey, guess what? You qualified for a trip. What? What's that mean? What? Where? And then Lizzie goes, hey, I want to go too. I'm like, okay, well, let's go get our 5,000 points someplace. And then we qualified. The point is, you have to make a decision. Do you want to do this? Do you want to experience this? I mean, I can tell you, and I tell him blue in the face, right? It is worth it. I mean, how else do I say it?
Yeah, it is. It's like going to convention. If you've never gone, you cannot explain it to somebody. And the same thing with these incentive trips.
It's
if
like
you haven't had a chance, it's just no matter what words we use, what pictures we show you, it just can't do it. So it's such a reward. It's so earnable and so achievable.
Totally.
And what we can do is next week, maybe depending on what Rachel wants to do, but we could cover how qualifying for this puts you right in the league for qualifying for the new profit sharing program that doTERRA is offering. They're like opening it back up for founders in the United States. And as you accomplish the same goals to win your trip, you're qualifying for that also.
Yep, same points. Double dip on the points.
So that's something that we could cover, just based on, I think Rachel's going to be gone this weekend next, isn't she? Does anybody know any details?
I think a couple weeks. Yeah, I think
we can make sure and do that because I have to, for me, and the way I learn, I've got to sit down and study and get really clear and then set my goals. But we did not go. I don't think we've been the last 2 years on the incentive trip. And when they announced it in Hawaii, and I remembered what it was like, and also with what we're doing right now in the way that we're teaching and growing, and what I've started here, right where we are in Utah, that's saturated wrong. Then that's gonna. And is this the tracker?
So no, this is something I made up back in 2013.
That's Ron's tracker.
I made this up in 2013, and so it was like, every time you added some points or added another enrollment, it automatically calculated, told you what prize you were at, how many points to the next prize. So I may do something like that for this one as well. We'll see if I get a little spare time.
Yes, please.
They had one on the files.
Oh yeah, this is what they have. They have this one.
Oh, okay.
So this, oops, I'm sorry. I had to flip the screen. Sorry. Yeah,
But
this
you
is
know,
what they
because
have.
Ron is an engineer, his is all you put it in one place and it does all the math and everything for you. So
Yeah.
So this is the one they have, and you can download this from the website. Okay. So
I'm ready to. If you're open to sharing the one you create, Ron, I'd love it.
okay. Yeah, I just this is what I've been working on for last night midnight. It's my funnel for 60 days sober. I'm figuring out strategies.
It's interesting how brains work different for people. I just love that, and to watch and see you that as you guys share your stuff here and how it works for you, it is pretty cool. So
It's all good.
Hey, I hope it's been beneficial. It has been for me, and I really appreciate everybody's contributions. And I also feed off from the energy and other things that you guys bring to these. So thank you for being there, and we'll look forward to the upcoming ones and anything else you have to share in between. You know, we can get them on Rachel's Live True Wellness Builders page. And
I just wanted to say one thing too.
yeah, any final thoughts from anybody as we wrap up?
I'm in the process of making a new vision board, and I'm putting Hawaii on my vision board. So if you have one, add Hawaii to it so you see it every single day.
That's great.
That will remind you.
So I'll share my little thing I did right now. Is they gave us a what's the necklace thing that looks like a lei?
Yeah, we got laid when we went to the other place too. It was fun.
So I hung that on our thermostat in our house. So every time you go to change it, you see that, and it says Hawaii at the bottom. And so, anyway,
Like when you have to turn the heat up, you can go, I won't have to do this in Hawaii in January.
That's right.
Yeah, you'd be looking for the air conditioner.
So it would be so cool if we, to see us all there. I know we've enjoyed trips. One comes to my mind with Ron and Liz before, eating on the beach in Mexico, and they were teaching us dances. It was just
That's right.
us.
Oh my gosh.
And you just make some really cool memories. So let's take this and let it be our energy and our strength for this week. And thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you
I'm going
so
to take
much.
off from my new planet. Going home now.
Yeah, there you go, Ron.